Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a disassembly for you, this little guy right here. This is the Spyderco Techno 2. So, this is actually the second time I've disassembled this knife. The first time I went ahead and I did my disassembly, but then I realized upon, because afterwards I always check out the video, but I realized that it was just too damn loud, because it was kind of vaguely hilarious. I had a freaking UPS truck going like crazy out there. I had a trash truck come by, then a bunch of Hornet freaking FA-18 jets fly over me from the military base. It was just like, guys, I'm filming over here. Come on. But nevertheless, and you can still hear that, by the way, they're still doing some trash collection out there. So this is actually a freshly maintained knife. But nevertheless, we'll go ahead and break it down and show you how things are working in here. But what we can see here is that this is the knife was pretty factory fresh even before the last disassembly, because it had literally just come from a retailer. Because I ended up buying this guy because I figured, it's probably a good thing for me to exercise editorial independence by buying a Spyderco for once, and the other thing is that this is a knife I figured I would want to keep. And Spyderco, and my arrangement is that, they'll send me stuff, but at the end it needs to go to charity. And that's a beautiful thing, 100%, but my name is not Charity. And my wife's name is not Charity either, for all those who thought that was a loophole. I'd like the option at least to hold on to this little guy here. And so I went on ahead and I picked one up. And also I saw them available on, what was it? KnifeWorks? Yeah, KnifeWorks, and went ahead and did the purchase. So, a couple of things to highlight here. To start with, they are using a blue thread locker. And indeed, they're using a lot of blue thread locker. It is a substantial amount. When I first popped this guy open, I actually needed to get out this little handle here to give myself a little bit of extra spin, to make things a little bit easier. One other thing I'll highlight is that the overall, it's a relatively vanilla sort of frame locky sort of affair. See here, it's got some kind of a darkening and blasting sort of effect. I'm not quite sure which, but they've gone ahead, they've masked off the area where the washers spin, which is great and makes this guy very smooth. The pivot on it is pretty vanilla. It is a conventional frame lock. There is no lock bar insert like there was on the Brower or anything like that, but it's got a ceramic lock bar. Honestly, I don't see the insert thing is not something that I freak out about on a regular basis. So, is what it is. Let's go ahead and pop this in here. All right. Let's see if we can get this reassembled before the freaking garbage men show back up or something. All right. And I'm using on this guy, by the way, if you're curious about any of the tools I'm using, check out my knife disassembly toolkit video, where I talk about all of these things and more, give my reasons, whatnot. I'm using knife pivot lube here, the KPL stuff. It is absolutely hyped, frankly overhyped at this point, but it is absolutely solid, and it does have the advantage over the my classical choice has always been nano oil, and knife pivot lube is just about equivalent to the nano oil in pretty much every domain, but one area where it exceeds it slightly is on phosphor bronze washer knives, like this one, where the slightly higher viscosity really does add something to it, but it gives it a smoother action than going to the full-on 85 weight does. And so in this case, there's really not a question as to which of these I'm going to use. It's also worth highlighting this beautiful mirror polish on this guy. Absolutely great. It does really nice. I'm thrilled that they're continuing to keep the fit and finish up with the Techno here, because that was one of the things that made the Techno so exceptionally in its first round. Because I actually had a Spyderco Techno a long time ago. And I bought the Slysz Bull. He was like, holy crap, I like this. Then I bought the Techno as a little brother for it. But the Techno, the original Techno, was just too damn thick. Not just in terms of overall, it's a chubby little bunny. It's thick with two capital C's, but it is absolutely, the blade on it was very, very thick. So what I just did there, by the way, to pop everything back together, is I kind of held on both ends, and then I used my thumb to hold the lock bar down a little bit, and that took some of the tension out of the system and allowed me to snap everything closed. But anyways, so I had the original Techno, and like I said, I liked many elements of it, but this is not my driver. This is my driver. I liked many elements of it. This is a T8 Torx bit, by the way. But it ended up just being too thick. Like, every time I wanted to use it, it was just like, this is great, except that it doesn't really cut things, and that's kind of an important thing for a knife to do, in my estimation, at least. So I'm hoping that with this new blade, which is substantially thinner, not just in terms, I think the stock is thinner, but it's certainly a much thinner grind. It thins out behind the edge. That's definitely an improvement. And just otherwise, it's still substantially well done. The Techno is a really kind of neat little piece. And I think I'm really glad that that Spyderco has kept up the Techno 2 here, because it really does, it brings something pretty nice to the table. And it gives that sort of bank vaulty, smooth, glassy option, like something like your Chris Reeve Shabazz, except it does it at a lower price point, and, you know, with very similar levels of fit and finish. So, yeah, that's nice. We see the center to close enough that I don't care. So that's good. No blade play. Oh, yeah, that's smooth. Very nice. So, there we go. That is your Spyderco Techno. As you can see here, it's a very, very basic frame lock. In fact, it holds no surprises next to the Spidey Chef or the Slysz Bowie, but it just happens to be a little bit smaller and much, 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 much freaking thinner behind that edge. And thank God for that. Anyways, I hope this has been interesting to you, and have yourselves just an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.